I'm Shiva.
I'm Sandy.
And this is
Our Relaxing Hobby. Well, today's episode is going to be about Plecos.
Yeah, everybody's favorite cleaning crew.
Yep.
And we're going to be talking about a couple different varieties of Plecos today and which ones are going to be best for your tank. And you might be surprised.
Yeah, okay.
So we're going to start off with the common Pleco.
Yeah, that's the one that all the pet stores sell and...
Yeah. The problem with common Plecos is when you go in a pet store and you say, hey, I need a Pleco, they're going to immediately point you to them. They're cheap. You can usually get them for like, $2 or $3.
Yeah, $2 or $3, yeah.
They're great for cleaning.
Cute little things.
They're great for cleaning because they are almost always babies when you get them. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah. There's a reason. We'll show you video later of why there's a reason for that, but they grow.
Yeah, they grow a lot bigger than people think they do.
Yeah.
So if you're getting a little common Pleco for your 10, 20,
10-gallon tank.
tank.
I had one for my 10-gallon tank and they upgraded to a 30 because of the Pleco size.
Yeah, did we mention that they can get over a foot long?
Yeah. They get very large very quickly. Not quickly.
They're slow growers.
Takes several years, yeah.
Yeah, they are slow growers, but they can get very big.
Yeah.
I think I wish we had a picture of that one that they had at the fish tank that was huge.
It was huge, absolutely. I've never seen one that big.
Yay big.
I've never seen one that big, yeah.
Yeah, that's a
and he said it was about 15 years old, I think he said, 15 or 20.
Yeah.
But yeah, they live...
About 15, 20
years, yeah. Because mine was about 9. But mine never got as big as I think it could have. But it was larger, it was almost as large as, not quite as large as yours.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the factoring has to do with how much food it has too.
Right,
I mean, you've got a smaller tank, not going to grow as fast as like ours did because they've got a whole pond to clean up after.
Right.
And they like to eat off the surface too. That's
right, yeah, we'll show some video of that, yeah.
Yeah, that's another thing about
Shiva starves her fish.
That's another thing about Plecos. If you don't have enough algae in your tank or stuff to clean up, they will go after the fish food. And mine have learned to flip upside down and eat fish food directly off the surface. It's hilarious.
Which is really neat.
Yeah, they also like watermelon. See previous episode on watermelon.
Yeah, on watermelon. Yeah.
But
that's the most common.
Yeah, common Plecos.
Common Plecos are the most common. That's the ones most of the fish stores just automatically try to sell people if they don't. How do I say that nicely?
If they don't know any better.
Or they just don't care. I was trying to be nice. A lot of them just don't care. So you need to know that common Plecos are something. You have to, if you have a little 10-gallon tank, you don't necessarily want one.
Well, I also think that a lot of people just don't realize how big they get.
Right,
I've had people come over here looking at the tank. Oh my God, that's the biggest sucker fish I've ever seen. Yeah, that's a common Pleco.
Right.
So unless you've got like a really big tank, try to avoid the common Plecos. There are better alternatives.
Right. There's the one that we prefer,
which is the bristlenose.
Right.
Now bristlenose only get about 6 inches. Yeah. Maybe. Some maybe a little larger,
but for the most part around 6 inches.
They're
full grown.
They're adorable. They kind of look like common Plecos, only they've got
the males have
males have these big bristly things on their noses.
They have whiskers. It's cute.
Yep, whiskers. Some of the females do too, but not as
many. Yeah, not as many.
They do come in different varieties. You can get bristlenose that have spots on them, and then there's the red bristlenose. There's also a yellow variety.
Okay, I haven't seen that one yet.
Blue variety.
Yeah, the designer Plecos kind of thing, but.
Sort of.
Designer colors.
Kind of like designer colors.
I had one of the red ones that lived for a little while, but...
Yeah, now the bristlenose Plecos are much better suited for like a smaller tank.
Right.
They, like I said, they only get about 6 inches. They will work just as hard as a common. They're adorable. They are just as tricky to catch in a net.
They are.
They're spiny, so yeah, if you're keeping Plecos, keep a fine mesh net. Kind of like how we talked in a previous episode about the koi. Just keep a fine mesh net.
We weren't videotaping the day we got the Pleco stuck in the net, did we?
No.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that poor Pleco. It lived though, it was fine.
Yeah.
It survived us.
Yeah, haven't got one yet. But
hold my beer.
But the bristlenose are much better for most of your tanks, like even a 55. And a lot of ours can keep bristlenose rather than commons, obvious reasons.
Right.
So we'll show you footage on what they look like. They're adorable. we'll also tell you a little bit later about one thing you gotta watch for them.
Right, there's one thing you have to kind of pay attention to for plecos.
We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
The third species that we have here are called the crocodile rhinoceros plecos, the croc rhinos.
You only had one. You only had one for a long while.
We only had one. They're really hard to find.
Right.
Trust me.
But you didn't even know what she was when you first got her. She was just cool looking.
Okay. I originally found Roomba at a pet store, and they didn't even know what she was. They called her a Chinese pleco, which I'd never heard of, and of course, me being me, I was like, oh, I want that. Not knowing much about them, so I knew, bring her home. I knew that I would have the facilities to be able to handle no matter how big she got. Unless she got, 4 feet, then I might have had a problem. But I knew I had enough facilities where, if she was going to get bigger, I'd be able to move her or whatever. We come to find out she's a crocodile rhino pleco. They are gorgeous, or at least I think they are.
They're also soft, which is nice. It's kind of cool. You can touch them.
Yeah, I in fact will handle her in a little bit.
Right.
But they're also known as chocolate plecos. They get...
A lot of the pet stores call them chocolate plecos, I found.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get roughly about 8 inches, give or take.
Okay.
They are hard to find. It took me forever to find the 4 babies that we'll be showing you here in a little bit. It took me forever to find them. The bigger they get, the more expensive they are because they are considered designer plecos.
Right.
They are fragile as babies, as we found out with the initial 5.
Well,
we lost one.
You only lost one though.
That's
actually actually a pretty good ratio.
Yeah, but we've had Roomba for about 4 years. She's very docile. I love her. I mean, we don't even need a net to
I still remember I was putting the plant in there, and she decided she didn't want to move, and so I pushed her. Most plecos will freak out if you touch them. She moved and then came back and pushed me out of the way, which was kind of funny as heck. Yeah. Like, get out of my space, you're in my space, which was cute as heck. I mean, she's not scary, she's just not afraid of you at all.
Yeah, but she's not very hard to move, which is another reason why I love her. Aside from the fact she's really sweet. But the designer plecos can be expensive. The other ones we've seen are, we don't have them here, but we've seen like zebra plecos, leopard plecos, and then there's a bunch of others.
Spotted weird.
Yeah,
I don't know all of them. Yeah, there's so many others. There are others.
Like a boom lately, I'd say in the last 10 years about breeding these different types of exotic plecos.
We don't know much about them, so I can't really.
Yeah, the only ones we've dealt with are the rhino crocs, but they can get expensive. I mean, even the rhino crocs have. I mean, when I was looking online to try to find a mate for her because I really want to breed her, only one adult pleco of her type that I found was about $1,000. So it was like, wow. Looking more into the designer plecos, that's a heck of an investment.
Yeah.
The babies.
Not me.
Yeah, the mortality rate is high, which is why the babies are cheap, but yeah, the adult ones can get up there. I have seen some that are the really, really rare exotic ones that can run like, a couple grand.
Okay.
So
for most people, you want to stick, if you just have a normal sized tank, you want to stick to the bristle nose for the most part, or, because, and then once they get too big for your tank, then you have to get rid of them, and then what do? You have to look for a pet store to take them, or a friend that has a bigger tank.
Yeah, put a little ads up on Craigslist.
I mean, I literally went to bigger tanks, so I didn't have to get rid of mine, because, it was, but a lot of people aren't able to do that, so.
Right.
You want to kind of keep that in the back of your mind when you're looking for plecos, or suckerfish, as most people call them.
Yeah. Now we get to tell them about how you can accidentally end up with more than you can handle.
No, you can never have too many.
Yeah, that's because we're fortunate. Yeah. We have a nice little arrangement with some pet stores.
It was a fluke. They told you originally that the plecos were very hard to breed.
Yeah, we heard that plecos were hard to breed. So we
that's not true.
Anything of putting male and female bristlenose together. We thought, hey, yay, more than a couple of females to a male, no problem.
And they didn't fight, so it was fine. Cleaning the tank, it was a great idea, win-win.
Yeah, the problem
was... Because it was a big tank, it was a 55.
Yeah, the problem was our ornaments.
She had the Temple of Love.
Yes,
and
you had temple.
And the other thing was the scary bubble guy, which we'll talk about him in a minute as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had these ornaments in the tank because I like to dressing up my tanks, and I was wondering why I wasn't seeing the male for a while. And then one day I saw these things that looked like tadpoles up at the top of my tank, and I thought, I didn't put any tadpoles in that tank. Now, closer inspection, they're baby plecos. Yeah. Lots of baby plecos.
Lots.
Lots and lots of baby plecos. So we found out that the bristlenose in particular will find a cave. Someplace
Which is
where
Scary Bubble Guy or the Temple of Love.
the female will lay the eggs, and the male will take care of the eggs until.
And he is relentless. That was one thing we learned. The males will not leave the babies. They will not leave the eggs.
Yeah.
And I think Gareth had to cut the Scary Bubble Guy had to be cut open because the male got stuck.
Yeah, basically Scary Bubble Guy, the hollow head, the pleco had gotten up in there to take care of the eggs and got stuck. So.
And he wouldn't. I don't know if he would have left it. You had to force him out of there, didn't you?
Oh, we couldn't even force him out. He was kind of stuck. So. I wish we had video of it because it was like a suspense movie with Gareth using a hacksaw to cut Scary Bubble Guy in half and
not cut the male pleco in half
while in water, being like centimeters away from the pleco. But he managed to get the pleco out, and sure enough, there was a whole clutch of eggs right there at the tops. So sometimes your cave is going to be something that you'd never expect.
Oh yeah, that's right. You had that unique cave.
Yeah, we have a crocodile skull ornament that I thought was neat, and one day Gareth needed pleco into his new tank.
Right.
So I knew that my male that was in there really liked the alligator skull, so I figured, okay, I'll just grab the alligator skull, throw it in a bag of water, and bring the whole thing over to him because easy way to catch pleco instead of chasing him around with the net.
Right. He was cleaning the.
Yeah, he was always in there.
He was cleaning the alligator skull, crocodile skull, whatever it was.
He loved the crocodile skull, and so I just didn't think twice about it until about a week later, Gareth's telling me about all these baby plecos he has running around in his aquarium. Turns out those little buggers managed to make a nest out of this really shallow
little alligator skull. Yeah.
So,
which was very unexpected.
Very. So that's how we ended up with 6 or 7 plecos in Gareth's brand new tropical tank.
Right, unexpectedly, yeah.
Unexpectedly.
So yes, the bristlenose are pretty prolific. They will find places if you have ornaments that they can get in and hide for even a day or two. That's all it takes for that female to lay the eggs, and the male. If your male starts concentrating on one spot for too long and refuses to move, good indication there might be eggs there.
Yep.
Because
Yep.
Yeah, they're. I don't know. We don't know about the other type, the rhino pleco, the rhinos.
We don't know about.
Don't know them yet. But
we're going to be learning. Basically, I just bought 4 rhino rock babies that I'm going to be raising to adulthood and then looking into breeding.
And the other one is that we know that the commons will breed because they did breed out in the outside tank.
Yep.
The ones in here haven't tried that I know of, but there's nowhere for them to hide.
Right. They don't. We've been really careful about making sure that there's no place for them to lay.
Right. But there were several out in the outdoor tank.
Yes.
So commons will do it as well.
Now, one thing I do want to mention, if you end up having baby plecos unexpectedly, if you have other fish that are carnivorous, like goldfish, you're going to want to either remove her babies or remove the carnivorous fish. And the reason for it is the Bonnie incident.
Oh, I forgot about the Bonnie incident. Oh, Lord, yes.
Yes,
Bonnie is a goldfish. I'm sure you've seen her. You've seen her in her other. Yeah, okay. Bonnie, and we didn't get any footage of what happened because
no, we didn't because it was terrifying.
It was Bonnie decided to help herself to a baby.
Yeah.
That got stuck.
Stuck
in her mouth.
And you can't pull it out because of the way that the spines are on the bristlenose plecos. And the common plecos, they have those spiny fins. So if we tried to pull it out of her mouth, we would have damaged her. So the only thing you can really do is wait for nature to take its course and wait for it to disintegrate. One of two things will happen: either the baby pleco will disintegrate and unclog your fish, or your fish is going to die. And we didn't know which for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was like for 2 weeks.
It was 2 weeks. She was
floating
not
around
able
with
to eat.
And she doesn't miss meals.
Bonnie's a very big eater, so we knew it was torture for her, especially when we're feeding the other fish.
Right.
But she survived. And we learned
baby plecos and larger fish
don't mix.
Don't do that.
So
don't do that.
If you end up with unexpected pleco babies, if you try to move the pleco babies, chances are you're going to lose them.
You're going to lose a lot of them when they're really young. We learned that really quickly. You don't move them for a couple of days if you can help it.
Yeah, so if you don't want baby plecos, then moving is probably going to kill them anyway. If you want the baby plecos, then you're going to have to move your carnivorous fish to a tank until they either get bigger or until you can move them. Generally speaking, you don't want to start moving baby plecos till they're at least 2 weeks old.
Yeah, and then I learned the hard lesson of the ammonia levels in your tank, because I have a smaller tank, and I had some baby plecos in there that I think you had given me, and my ammonia spiked one day, and it happens, the smaller the tank, the quicker the ammonia will spike, and it happens, for no reason you can tell. My ammonia spiked, and literally all of them died in a day.
Yeah,
the younger plecos die very easily. Ammonia is something that kills them very quickly. We learned.
Yeah, I've had the same thing happen.
You had a big clutch of them die.
So you really have to watch your ammonia levels if you got babies.
Yeah, the babies are very susceptible to the ammonia. I don't know if I mean the bigger ones. I don't know if it affects them quite as fast.
Not as fast,
but the little ones,
are.
yeah. I
So
felt really bad.
even when you're getting babies, just one baby to put into your tank. In order to, when you get a baby at the pet store, you still got to really watch your ammonia levels because that'll kill them in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and it's, I mean, the nitrates and the nitrites, they will kill, all the fish, obviously, as they will kill the plecos, but the ammonia is what kills them the quickest.
Yeah.
Because they don't have scales, is what I was told. They don't really have...
babies are they don't have the developed scales yet.
Yeah.
That's why baby plecos are generally very soft. You have to be very careful with them.
Yeah.
I mean, we had that one that I had... we did a fish bite on the one rhino pleco that was literally cut in half.
Yeah,
and we don't know how it happened. He might have just bumped up against a sharp rock or something. We don't know.
Right, and he lived for a couple of days like that.
He lived for a couple of days like that, but they're very soft when they're babies. It's not until they get a little bit older that they start developing that armor.
Right.
So you really have to be careful with baby plecos.
Right. So yeah, that's all. And we'll show you some video of some of the different plecos that Shiva has, and then we'll, show you a few. I think we have some babies that we can probably show them.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So we'll show you a little bit about plecos.
All right.